Imagine Marcus Aurelius sitting in the Roman Colosseum, lions roaring, crowds screaming, and someone trying to sell him olives. Yet, somehow, the man still finds time to write meditations. If he could think clearly surrounded by wild beasts and crowds shouting in Latin, what's your excuse? Let's be honest, today's world might not have gladiators, but we've got group chats, breaking news, TikTok notifications, and that one friend who always starts drama at 2 a.m. thinking clearly in all this noise. It's an Olympic sport. But here's the twist. Stoic philosophy gives us the tools to cut through the chaos. Before we dive deep into how to become mentally bulletproof in a noisy world, don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and stick around till the end. We're building a powerful community, and your support helps us stay focused too. Let's get into it. Number 1. Silence is a superpower in a loud world. Let's start with one of the most overlooked truths today. Silence isn't empty. It's full of answers. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic legend, believed that the more we speak, the more we lose ourselves. In a noisy world, thinking clearly begins by reclaiming silence. And no, that doesn't mean throwing your phone into a volcano. It means carving out space to think before you react. Modern life rewards fast reactions. Comment now, tweet instantly, respond in real time. But the Stoics did the opposite. They paused. They reflected. They thought things through. They knew that clarity doesn't shout. It whispers. And you only hear it when everything else quiets down. Try starting your day with 5 minutes of silence. Not with meditation apps or podcasts. Just silence. At first, your mind will scream louder than a kid denied screen time. But soon, you'll notice how your thoughts settle like dust in still air. That's where clarity lives. As Epictetus said, we have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak. Use that ratio when navigating the noise. Sometimes, the smartest thing you can do is say nothing at all, especially in the group chat. Number 2, question everything, especially your own thoughts. Thinking clearly doesn't mean thinking more. It means thinking better. And one powerful Stoic practice is self-inquiry. In a world filled with half-truths, manipulated news, and influencers selling mindset like it's skincare, learning to question your thoughts is a super skill. Seneca once said, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." How many times have you spiraled over something that didn't even happen? That awkward text you sent? That thing your boss said? Yeah, 90% noise, 10% actual problem. The Stoics knew that not every thought deserves your belief. Whenever a thought shows up, especially the dramatic ones, pause and ask, is this true? Is it useful? Can I do something about it right now? If the answer is no, let it go like an expired meme. This inner audit filters out mental junk and leaves space for what matters. By regularly challenging your inner narrative, you stop becoming a prisoner of your own mind. Instead of being dragged around by every emotion or opinion, you become the driver, calm, steady, focused, and yes, still confused by the ending of every Christopher Nolan movie. Number 3, train your attention like a Stoic. We live in an age of stolen focus. Every beep, buzz, and banner ad is fighting for your attention like it's Black Friday. But here's the truth. Your attention is your most valuable asset, and the Stoics were masters at guarding it. Think of your attention like a flashlight in a dark cave. If you're waving it around randomly, you see nothing clearly. But if you hold it steady, you illuminate exactly what you need to see. That's what the Stoics practiced, focused awareness, or as they called it, pro-soak. Want to think clearly? You got to stop multitasking like a caffeinated octopus. Do one thing at a time. When you're eating, eat. When you're reading, read. When you're scrolling, actually, maybe scroll less. You'd be amazed how much clearer your mind feels when it's not juggling 47 apps. Try this. Next time you're with a friend or reading a book, put your phone in another room. Yes, I said another room. Scary, I know. But the Stoics weren't scared of discomfort. They embraced it. And the reward is razor-sharp clarity in a world of mental fog. Number 4, embrace simplicity. Complexity is overrated. Clear thinking isn't about knowing everything. It's about cutting through the clutter and focusing on what really matters. The Stoics lived simply, not because they were boring monks with no hobbies, but because they knew that complexity creates confusion. Ever seen someone try to solve a simple problem with a 27-step productivity hack, 3 planners, and a color-coded whiteboard? That's not clarity, that's overthinking wearing a lab coat. Epictetus taught that our job is not to control everything, but to control ourselves. That's already hard enough without an app to schedule your breathing. To simplify your mind, start by simplifying your life. Reduce the choices that don't matter. Streamline your routines. Say no more often. Decision fatigue is real, and it's the enemy of clear thought. The fewer decisions you waste on trivial things, the more energy you have for the big ones. Minimalism isn't just for your closet, it's for your mind. Clear surroundings lead to a clearer head. So yes, maybe it's time to finally delete those apps you haven't opened since 2021. Number 5. Choose wisdom over reaction. The Stoics believe that every moment gives you a choice, wisdom or reaction. Most people choose reaction. They lash out, complain, panic. But those who choose wisdom, they rise above the noise. They pause, reflect, and respond with purpose. Marcus Aurelius faced war, betrayal, and plague, not unlike your average Monday on Twitter. But he didn't lose his mind. Why? Because he refused to be ruled by circumstances. He wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Reacting feels good in the moment. You fire off that comeback, that angry comment, that sarcastic tweet. But wisdom? That's long-term peace. It means asking, what's the most useful response here? Not the most clever or the most savage, but the most aligned with your values. To think clearly, you must resist the urge to be first and instead aim to be right. Not in the arrogant way, but in the Stoic way. Measured, thoughtful, grounded. That's what the world needs more of. Not louder voices, but wiser ones. Number 6, don't let emotions hijack your mind. Ever tried thinking straight when you're angry, anxious, or hangry? Yeah, good luck with that. Emotions are like pop-up ads for your brain, loud, unexpected, and usually irrelevant to the task at hand. The Stoics didn't suppress emotions, they just didn't let them run the show. They trained themselves to notice emotions without becoming them. When you're overwhelmed, pause and label the emotion. This is anxiety or this is frustration. You'd be surprised how much power you regain just by naming it. Marcus Aurelius did this in his Meditations, a giant journal of emotional weather reports. Anger has shown up today, he'd write, calmly describing it like he was spotting a pigeon in the park. Clear thinking starts when we create space between stimulus and response. That space is where reason lives, and also where your dignity hangs out. When you react instantly, you forfeit both. Next time someone cuts you off in traffic, try this. Smile and say, another opportunity to practice Stoicism. Then, don't honk like a caffeinated goose. Thinking clearly isn't about being emotionless. It's about being emotionally intelligent. You can't stop emotions from arriving, but you can stop them from hijacking your judgment. You're the host. Emotions are just guests. Some will overstay their welcome, but you still get to decide who gets a key. Number 7, focus on what you can control and ignore the rest. The Stoics were control freaks, but only about the right things. Epictetus famously said, "Some things are up to us, and some things are not." If you want to think clearly, learn this distinction fast. Trying to control what isn't yours, like people's opinions, the weather, or internet trolls, is like yelling at clouds. Therapeutic maybe, but not productive. Clarity is born when you zoom in on what's truly within your sphere of influence. Your thoughts, your actions, your choices. Everything else, background noise. When you waste energy on what you can't change, you drain the energy needed to change what you can. It's like bringing a spoon to a sword fight. Wrong tool, wrong focus. Say you're stuck in traffic, running late, and your boss just texted, "We need to talk." You could panic, curse, and build mental disaster scenarios where you could breathe, control your speed, and rehearse calm responses. Stoicism says, be the eye in the storm, not the leaf in the wind. Same situation, totally different clarity levels. To build this mindset, try journaling each day. What did I control today? And what did I waste energy on? Over time, you'll notice a shift. Less overthinking, more precision. Less noise, more clarity. And best of all, fewer emotional hangovers from things that were never yours to hold. Number 8, use death as a filter for what matters. Okay, I know, talking about death might not scream funny, but stick with me. The Stoics loved a bit of memento mori. Remember you must die. Not to be morbid, but to think better. Why? Because when you keep your mortality in mind, the petty stuff suddenly looks ridiculous. That rude comment? Doesn't matter. That awkward moment? Please. You're dust in a few decades, bro. Marcus Aurelius used death as a mental filter. He'd ask, will this still matter when I'm gone? If the answer was no, he let it go. That's how you think clearly, by putting everything in its rightful size. Most of the stuff that clutters your mind isn't big. It just feels big because you've zoomed in too far. Try zooming out. Imagine you've got 1 year left to live. Would you spend it doom scrolling or arguing with strangers online? Probably not. You'd simplify, focus, prioritize. That's what memento mori does. It's like a mental Marie Kondo for your brain. If it doesn't spark meaning, toss it. So next time you're overwhelmed, remember, you're not here forever. And that's a gift. Let it guide your decisions. Let it declutter your mind. And if you're still anxious about it, well, at least you won't have to pay taxes forever. Number 9, protect your inner circle from mental clutter. You're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with, or in today's world, the 5 algorithms feeding your brain. If your feed is full of outrage, gossip, and bad takes, don't be surprised when your thoughts start sounding like a viral comment thread. The Stoics chose their company wisely, and you should too. Seneca wrote extensively about friendship, advising us to spend time only with those who elevate us. That applies online too. Who are you listening to every day? Is it people who teach you to think clearly, or people who just make noise? Unfollow liberally. Block enthusiastically. Your mental space is not a democracy. It's a dictatorship ruled by your highest self. Build a personal mental circle. A group of voices, authors, mentors, or even dead philosophers who help you think better. Read them. Watch them. Learn from them. Let their clarity become your clarity. You don't have to meet Marcus Aurelius in real life to learn from him. His wisdom is alive and a lot less dramatic than your news feed. And remember, sometimes the clearest thinking comes from solitude. If no one around you encourages depth, take a walk alone. Nature has a way of reminding you that all the noise is optional. Birds aren't on Twitter, and somehow they still thrive. Number 10. Practice detachment, even from your own opinions. Here's a wild idea. Maybe you're wrong. About something. Maybe even a few things. Shocking, I know. But one of the most powerful ways to think clearly is to hold your beliefs loosely. Not like cheap luggage, but like you're aware they could be upgraded. The Stoics were humble thinkers. They believed in truth, not ego. Epictetus often reminded his students that if someone proved them wrong, they should celebrate, not defend their ego. He basically said, thank you for correcting me. That means I'm less wrong now. Imagine Twitter with that mindset. Actually, don't. It'd crash from unfamiliar behavior. Detach from the need to win every argument. Detach from needing to be right all the time. That doesn't mean giving up on truth. It means being devoted to it more than your pride. Because if your identity is tied to every opinion you have, changing your mind feels like a crisis. But if you detach, clarity flows freely. Next time you hear a different perspective, ask, what if they're right? Even better, what part of what they said is useful? you'll find that most people aren't totally wrong. They're just noisy. And when you filter noise through detachment, you begin thinking like a true Stoic, grounded, humble, and occasionally correct.